Left jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports,
What's good, everyone? WCS on deck again. Salute. Salute to everyone that's returning and supporting the channel as always, man. It's always great to have y'all pull up. Big salute to the day one supporters. You know what it is with me. It's fight week, of course. And, one of the greatest heavyweights of our era is set to return back to the ring. That heavyweight by the name of Deontay Bronze Bomber Wilder. Now, there's a lot that's going on with his return, of course. A lot that he's been through in the last several years. And we've been able to basically be on that journey with him, so to speak. So, I've been hearing a lot of talk about him returning back to the ring, what he needs to do in his return, what effect it's going to have on his career. Let's just take a pause for a second, right? All right. Let's just take a pause for a second and remember what he accomplished while he was active. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about, yes, let's identify the undefeated portion of his career, the window of his career where he amassed 42 victories. Let's just think about that real quick. That's important. Let's just think about that. 42 victories, 41 knockouts. Okay? 42 victories, 0 defeats. 42 victories, 41 stoppages. And at that point in time in his career, he had put every man that he had faced inside the square on the canvas. Ponder that thought now. We're gonna take this nice and slow. We're gonna sip on this nice and slow. Ponder that thought. Now, check this out. This era did not consist of a so-called murderer's row or top 15 of a top 15 of considered to be the top 5 anywhere you go. We never had a top 15 ranking that anyone in top 15 can be a top 5. Boxing just isn't like that. You don't produce humans that's putting out like that athletically, especially when it comes to the combat sport of boxing. So in this era, he was able to fight those names that was available. At the time before this man took his first L, him being Deontay Wilder, it was names out there like Anthony Joshua. People was all high on Anthony Joshua. He was across the pond being protected. But, the Americans, the British fans, they was high on him because, for one, a lot of y'all dudes out here was enamored with him. Y'all want a physique. Y'all wanted a physique like Anthony Joshua. So you therefore, it drew in a lot of fan base of American males. I mean, we're talking about American males that had full blown, freaking posters on their bedroom ceiling. So when they lay down, they can dream about AJ. Real talk. I remember hearing dudes talk about AJ like he was the best thing ever. Like if he would have been back in time with the Joe Lewises and, you know what I'm saying? The Muhammad Ali's, Henry Armstrong's, Jack Johnson's, anybody you can name. Joe Frazier, Larry Holmes. They was trying to compare this man to everything. It was just one name, right? Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury, was involved in a cheating scandal with Christian Hammer. You know what I'm saying? They fixed his glove, but yet a positive test was pending that allowed him to be able to go in there and fight for the titles, which he was able to earn the titles. Now, that never should have counted as far as him earning those titles against Klitschko, but he did. After that fight, Klitschko never fought again. All right? Until Anthony Joshua requested him to come back. So we know about the Klitschko era, but this is not about the Klitschko era, right? Because unfortunately, Deontay Wilder wasn't able to step in the ring and compete against Klitschko. But Tyson Fury did, won the titles, and then went off on a hiatus, suspension, never defended his titles. Okay, he comes back. Deontay Wilder revives his life and his career, and it will lead up and blossom into something that will go down in history. Now, of course, when it comes to a trilogy, of course, if you're the fighter that's in the trilogy, you want to have the 2-0. You know what I'm saying? Right off the rip. You know what I'm saying? You want that 2-1. You want it to be like that. Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury fought for a draw in their first fight. So, amazingly, it seems like the business went by so well with them fighting for the first time, going in a draw, even though we need to highlight the man himself, the third man in the ring, Jack Reese, for his extended count. Then you come back for the rematch. You know what I'm saying? Because Tyson Fury was knocked out in that first fight, hands down, point blank, period. It should have been a win, 1-0 for Deontay Wilder, but due to unforeseen circumstances, he got up and he finished the fight strong. And this was a 12th round knockdown, right? Then he returned for the rematch, loses the rematch via 7-round stoppage, and then comes back. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about the pandemic taking place. You got to think about it. This is February 2020 when this second fight went down, and Deontay Wilder lost his titles. That was on the front side of the pandemic, and then the next fight in the trilogy was on the back side of the pandemic. Going through the court case and everything else. At this point in time, it was deemed that Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder was the best two heavyweights in the sport. The top 3 heavyweights in the sport, we had to throw Anthony Joshua in there. So Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder at the time, Anthony Joshua, and then it stops. Okay? A lot of the fighters can be thrown in there like a Joseph Parker at the time, Andy Ruiz, Dillian White. They hung around for quite some time. Alexander Povetkin. Excuse me. There was plenty of heavyweights that was there, that was outside of the top 3. Deontay Wilder was considered for his title reign to be a top 2 heavyweight. He was the reigning WBC champion for over 5 years, and he successfully attempted to defend for an 11th time when he went in there and lost in February 2020. That's true words. But he successfully completed those defenses of 10 successful defenses. During that time, y'all, him reigning the way he did, when you separate yourself from your compeers of fighters that you're competing against, and you're basically racking up years, you're racking up defenses and everything else, that goes down in history. That doesn't just go away. The words of an author cannot make that go away. It cannot make it go away. Because, look, Wilder, unfortunately, had came up in an era of boxing where some fighters of his magnitude and stature, for which he took on the sport and the way he did it, would be praised and celebrated. The Chavo would never stop. You know what I'm saying? They would be praising this man to the Welkins. You know what I'm saying? To, wanting to put him in the boxing for coming in the sport the way he did, fast tracking through the Olympics, winning the bronze medal, being one of the only athletes, the boxers, to do it at that time, and going on the reign and accumulate 42 victories. If you look back in time with the heavyweights that are now in the Hall of Fame, some of them, they're in the Hall of Fame for what they didn't do. What I mean, what they didn't do, they're in the Hall of Fame for fighters that they fought that was champions, who was considered former champions, and they couldn't get the job done. You look at a lot of them older champions, they didn't reign as long as Deontay Wilder did. They might have picked up a strap, but they didn't reign for as long as he did. I said some. I'm talking about some of these guys that's in the Hall of Fame. That's all I'm saying. People will always, they'll bring up names like Max Schmeling. He was a heavyweight champion, I think, for like 2 years. But the name sounds good. You know what I'm saying? The name sounds good because they will match him up to when he fought Joe Louis. They say, oh, he fought Joe Louis twice. You know what I'm saying? But did he win both times fighting Joe Louis? During his title reign, is 2 years longer than 5 years? Is 2 years longer than 5 years? And then you have to take in consideration other champions that are in the Hall of Fame for what they didn't do. What about Sam Langford? Sam Langford was deemed, by networks back then, he was deemed as the greatest fighter no one knew. You know what I'm saying? That man had a lot of fights. Man. I'm not even gonna trip. I think, you're talking about somebody that had over 200 professional fights, close to 130 knockouts. And now, of course, somebody's gonna sit back here in this era and say, "Oh man, it was all tomato cans. Nobody cares about that." You might be right, because back then boxing was extremely different than it was now. But my point is, when it comes down to reading articles, right? And you read what an author put in there. An author that has the pretty much put out information, and sometimes these writers, they'll put out information to basically get that shock and awe value from the readers. And Lyle Fitzsimmons, right? Nothing to do with Bob Fitzsimmons. You know what I'm saying? The guy who James Jeffries beat for his first heavyweight title. You know what I'm saying? No relation. But I'm just curious about the Fitzsimmons, the writer, when he put out there in his title, and this is stiff. He put out there in his title something stiff. Like, you have You have millions of people that's gonna read this shit. It's stiff. Very, very stiff. Extremely disrespectful. Really, extremely disrespectful. I don't know why people pay so much attention and not understanding. I mean, pay so much attention to what these writers put out, but not really focus on separating. Are they giving you organic information in that article, or are they being straight up haters? Because just because somebody is hired as an employee for a outlet like Boxing Scene doesn't mean they're going to be fair and unbiased. It just isn't the case, man. Let me get to this chat right quick. Be in boxing, what's good? Don on deck, L Foul player, salute to you. Retro for Life 79 on deck, what's good? Salute. Max, what's good? Tuscaloosa to the world. Tony said, much respect at World Combat Sports in the chat. Stopped in to show support and hit the like button. Salute. Just got in from work. No doubt, man. Good news. That's great. Thanks for dropping by there, Tony. As always, brother, one love to you. And everybody else is rolling through. Love him or hate him, Wilder would be in the Hall of Fame no matter what he fought. All those defenses of WBC titles guaranteed he would be in the Hall of Fame, plus a bronze medal in the Olympics. Respect. I'm going to touch on that. Good point. Foul players say crazy KO rate while being avoided by Jack Johnson, too. Langford might be the GOAT. And see, here you go. Somebody's dropping some gems. You know what I'm saying? Jack Johnson didn't even fight this dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot that was going on back then. You know, you had some of these black fighters winning the colored heavyweight championship of the world. You know what I'm saying? Whatever they called it back then. And Sam Langford, he couldn't get that fade with Jack Johnson. He couldn't get the fade. I'm not saying Jack Johnson was scared, but he couldn't get the fade, dog. But back to this cat at Boxing Scene. He put in his title and said, welcome back, Deontay. But you're still not a Hall of Famer. What I want to say, that I feel like writing an article just allow Fitzsimmons. I feel like writing an article just in rebuttal to allow Fitzsimmons, who published this today, because he's no better of a writer than me. He's no better of a writer than I am. Absolutely. He's no better of a writer than I am. He puts in his header, welcome back, Deontay, but you're still not a Hall of Famer. It goes in and say, he's 0-2-1 with a pair of stoppages against Fury. Against Fury, and 42-0 and 41 knockouts against everyone else, which isn't exactly good news for Robert Helenius. The thrice, he said, the thrice beating the Scandinavian giant in the opposite corner, who couldn't go the distance with dubious likes of John Duhaupas or Gerald Washington. And he speaks of downplaying Deontay Wilder's opponent in Robert Helenius. Why? Because Robert Helenius has common opponents for which Deontay Wilder, the Bronze Bomber, dispersed of in dominating fashion. When Deontay Wilder stepped in the square with Johann Duhaupas, he hadn't been stopped yet. Deontay Wilder kept at it. You know, you're talking about somebody who has fragmented skill set, absent of boxing technique and discipline. He stopped him in the 11th round. He stopped him. And then he stopped Gerald Washington. But this guy is basically comparing his opponent this week, Robert Helenius, and he's comparing his defeats to those same common opponents that Deontay Wilder defeated. You know what I'm saying? Has victories over. So what he's trying to say is Robert Helenius is not really someone that you all should be considering that's a threat to Deontay Wilder. He couldn't even beat common opponents. You know what I'm saying? That's what this guy Fitzsimmons is saying. He couldn't even beat common opponents, which Wilder has already dispersed. That's the one thing about common opponents in this era. It rarely happens, man. It rarely happens. Like right here, right now, can we really compare common opponents at the top of the food chain in the heavyweight? Could we talk about Anthony Joshua? You know what I'm saying? Let's just throw in a Dillian White. So Anthony Joshua fought Dillian White when he won the champion. Stopped him in 7. But then turn around, Tyson Fury. Check this out now. Check this out. Tyson Fury fights Dillian White and stops him in quicker fashion. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I just need your help on some stuff, right? I just need your help because this guy's trying to downplay common opponents that's been in there with Deontay Wilder, only because Deontay is stepping in there with Robert Helenius, who has very minimal losses though. But let me ask you this question. If Dillian White was stopped earlier fashion than when he fought Anthony Joshua, right? Why is it that they're trying to make a fight with Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury? That is the caveat to this writer, Fitzsimmons, in downplaying Robert Helenius stepping in the ring, right? Robert Helenius stepping in the ring again, and he has losses against 2 common opponents. But does it make any difference when Dillian White finally got his shot at Tyson Fury? Did they try to deny him because he had already been stopped by Alexander Povetkin and Anthony Joshua? Did they? Did they downplay it? Where was Fitzsimmons when all this was going down? Did they try to downplay this shit then? Did they try to downplay it? I'm just curious. Did they try to downplay him stepping in there with Tyson Fury to compete for the WBC heavyweight title after losing to Anthony Joshua and Alexander Povetkin? Not only that now. Not only that. Being that Tyson Fury stopped Dillian White in shorter fashion than Anthony Joshua, why aren't they taking that concern and trying to make Anthony Joshua Tyson Fury? Because he couldn't get the job done. Anthony Joshua, I believe, stopped Dillian White in round 7, right? And for me being petty, Tyson Fury stopped him in round 6, right? So I'm saying to myself, like, why wouldn't it be a concern after Anthony Joshua's coming off his 2nd straight loss now? The only saving grace for that is he haven't faced Tyson Fury. But he's coming off his 2nd straight loss to Alexander Usyk. And they're trying to make a fight with Tyson Fury. And I don't see an article out here from Fitzsimmons saying that fight doesn't make sense. I don't see any article out here saying that fight doesn't make sense, bro. But yet you out here talking about he's 0-2-1 with a pair of stoppages and he's this, that, and the other. And, Robert Helenius, who he was, beaten, who he was defeated by, and all this other shit. He goes on to say, Fitzsimmons, okay? He goes on to say this, too, in his article. He said, Duhaupas finished him in 6th in 2016. He's talking about Duhaupas finishing Robert Helenius, okay? And Washington got him 3 years later. Incidentally, Wilder KO'd both of these men in WBC title fights over combined 16 rounds. And most of those rounds, people, was the 11th round fight he had with Johann Duhaupas, okay? Old news. He goes on to say, so by the time Saturday night becomes Sunday morning, it's a pretty good bet that the Bronze Bomber installed a prohibitive 800 pick by the guys at DraftKings will have ticked up his record and polished up his image with a highlight reel KO that resembled a toppled redwood. He said a highlight reel KO that'll resemble a toppled redwood. He's trying to work on his tongue game, his tongue twisters, his lingo, his thespian. He's trying to be slick with the tongue, but that didn't get it right there. Toppling Redwood, it just didn't hit the mark. It's stale, bro. Real talk. And he goes on to say, and in the aftermath, let's get to hear thump his chest, yell bomb squad a couple of times, and immediately predict the demise of the nearest belt holder who's not 6'9" and 270 pounds. Now, I'm telling you, man, this guy, I can write for Boxing Scene. If that was my only chore, I could write. This guy's not a better writer than I am. If I chose to then put my fingers on the keys. But what I'm saying is, listen to his last paragraph, bro. He say, and in the aftermath, let's guess that he'll thump his chest. He's a bomb squad hater. Real car. A couple of times and immediately predicted the demise of the nearest belt holder who's not 6'9", 270 pounds. And that fighter is Tyson Fury. So him mentioning thumping his chest, right? It's been plenty of fighters that have post-fight celebration. You know what I'm saying? There's some fighters that jump up, on the ring and do backflips. There's certain fighters that do backflips while they're inside the ring. Certain fighters that pound on their chest, King Kong Ortiz. It's certain fighters like Deontay that'll say bomb squad. It's so many people that has post-fight celebrations where this guy right here is making zero defense in the point he's trying to make. Just stick to the common opponents. Because you said the man is not a Hall of Famer. Hall of Fame doesn't mean how he's going to celebrate post-fight. Because I didn't see him banging on his chest or thumping his chest when he knocked out Dillian White at the Barclays last time he was over there. I didn't see all that. I seen him headbutt the shit out of Sam Watson. And I said, God damn it, hold somebody down there ready to catch Sam Watson. Because I thought he had knocked the man off with a headbutt. Real talk. This guy goes on to say he's not the best heavyweight in the world based on the results against Fury. In fact, he's probably not even second best. Listen to this guy's words now. He's not the best heavyweight in the world based on the results against Fury. In fact, he's probably not second best in the world based on the recent accomplishments of ex-cruiserweight king Alexander Usyk. And despite what he claims in the Hellenius run-up, he's certainly not immortal either. Okay, he's talking about something that really truly doesn't exist in the human form. Okay, if we was immortal, it'd be a lot more activity going on in the ring. It'd be a lot more entertainment value to these boxing matches. We're talking about immortality. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? What is this dude fucking talking about? So, let's get on him and what he said about the accomplishments of ex-cruiserweight king Alexander Usyk. Now, Alexander Usyk wins the title from Anthony Joshua, and he successfully defends him, right? Peep this out. So, let's talk about heavyweight reign period. Just a heavyweight reign period. Is the Hall of Fame going to run down there and look at the opponents that Alexander Usyk, defeated for those titles at cruiserweight, and let's just say he retires? Is that Hall of Fame worthy? The amount of names, the who's who that he fought at cruiserweight? Okay, so pretty much he transitioned over. Is Chase Witherspoon, is he Hall of Fame? Derek Chisora, maybe, somewhere up the road, fifth, sixth time, whatever. Yeah, whatever. And then he gets Joshua. Not an undefeated Anthony Joshua, but an Anthony Joshua who already has a defeat on his record. He's already lost to Andy Ruiz. He's already lost to Andy Ruiz. He goes in here and fights Alexander Usyk for the first time. He loses. He didn't come in there inside the square with Alexander Usyk the first time undefeated. He already had a loss to a last minute replacement. Then he goes in there and loses his title to Usyk. I don't know why people continue to call him a cruiserweight. I guess it sounds good to him. So he goes in there, loses his belt, boom, second loss. Takes a little time, comes back, loses again. 3 losses, right? So now all of a sudden, a heavyweight, Alexander Usyk defeat Anthony Joshua, who wasn't undefeated, who's proven he can break under pressure, who's proven if he's not protected, he will indeed falter. So if you take Anthony Joshua and then you take, the 2 times that Anthony Joshua fought Alexander Usyk, it's not a trilogy. He doesn't have that 3-fight history with Alexander Usyk. It's over, done, kaput, done. It's over. That shit is done. It never developed into a rivalry. But I will tell you this, when Deontay Wilder knocked out Tyson Fury in the first fight, it should have been called a victory for Deontay Wilder, but it wasn't. He was robbed of that moment in history. So they went on to fight a trilogy. Even when Deontay Wilder had lost the rematch, good business sense on his part of his team to have a rematch clause in there. Why? Because Eddie Hearn was out here trying to make Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury for undisputed. All alone, knowing damn well Deontay Wilder was in court fighting for arbitration for which certain people were saying it expired during the pandemic. That fight is over. That's over. The pandemic expired, all that. He's nothing he can do. We found out that to be untrue. Though he went in there for the third one, and he went longer than he did in the rematch, he lost the fight. He was knocked out cold. He wanted to go out on the shield, and that presented itself. Deontay Wilder had a trilogy with considered the best heavyweight right now, this era, in the Gypsy King Tyson Fury. Now, there's a lot of speculation and asterisk and scandal that goes along with Tyson Fury. But of course, who he is and who he's attached to and connected with, people may talk about the scandal, but that's not going to stop them from saying that he's the top heavyweight right now, even in front of Alexander Usyk. Why are they saying that, people? Why are they giving you that information? Because he defeated Deontay Wilder. It's not because he defeated Dillian White. See what this writer right here, Fitzsimmons, is not understanding is that Tyson Fury was put on the Fight of the Year co-op with Teofimo Lopez when he defeated Wilder. Nobody else, Wilder. All along, Wilder's had all these defenses. Meant something. It had premise to it. What you're talking about in this article, you know what I'm saying, this misinformed article, you're missing how everything played out for Tyson Fury. How Deontay Wilder allowed his career to be elevated based off the strength of beating someone who they never gave the same amount of value of credit when he was actually undefeated. But it took Tyson Fury to defeat this man and then get put on the magazine, considered the best, want to throw him on the pound for pound list. But yeah, Deontay couldn't get it after damn 5 years plus, dog. After 10 successful defenses, he couldn't get put on no pound for pound list. You know why? Because they was waiting on somebody to hand him his first defeat. That's why. They was waiting and waiting and waiting. They wanted that shit to be Joshua, but Joshua was too afraid to face him. So what perfect name than the former unified champ, Tyson Fury, who pretty much was there with an extended open palm from Deontay Wilder. Here, I'm going to bring you on board. I'm going to revive your career because right now I'm hot. We cannot sit up here and act like Wilder didn't provide that buzz. You know what I'm saying? The sport wasn't buzzing when he was on deck, giving you highlight reel knockouts. A lot of people more so, spoke damningly about him because it's just all personal dislike. The way he looked, the way he moved, his rhythm in the ring, the way his body composition is. I ain't never seen so many people get mad of a boxer that's knocking motherfuckers out and say he looked like a basketball player. Crazy kill rate. What's going on, Big Blunts and Boxing? Salute to you, bro. D-Lo on deck. It seems like they expected he could lose to Usyk because they insisted on a rematch clause versus mandatory. It's smart most of the time in a high-stakes boxing match, because we're talking about prize fighters, right? It's very, very smart to put rematch clauses in there, okay? It's sometimes, okay? It all depends. Eddie Hearns loves it. Loves it. He's infatuated with rematch clauses. For Eddie Hearns, it's not to provide the fighter a second opportunity. It's so, he can get the 2-for-1 special. Like he can get paid twice. It's guaranteed that he has money lined up. It's almost like money making money. We have this fight, boom, automatic rematch. That's a lack of planning for me. We got a rematch. We're going to do it again, period. But with Deontay Wilder's accolades and what he was able to achieve, he never received that reward. Tyson Fury did. Tyson Fury received that reward. He did. When he defeated him in February 2020, he received everything they should have been giving Wilder. So this writer can't say he's still not Hall of Fame. You can't say that. Because if he wasn't worthy, Tyson Fury wouldn't have benefited so much after he defeated him for the first time and took his title. They would have downplayed it like it was nothing. But that was quite the opposite. It was quite the opposite. He goes on to say, quote, "I'm a Hall of Famer right now," he told his website last month. "I already know when those 5 years are up and I'm done competing, I'm automatically in the Boxing Hall of Fame, no question. If not, I'd be surprised." And then he says, the writer, it's a predictably bold statement from a perpetually bold guy. And he's absolutely right, but he's also very wrong. Given the iffy nature of some who've been cleared for the 21st century takeoff into the central New York Mecca, Gotti, Cowie, Chacon, McGuigan. Among them, I can see it's a 2022 reality that Wilder will indeed be a first ballot inductee whenever his name is on the ballot. The 10 defenses and spectacular KO rate will be ample rationale for the yes votes, dismissing that he was twice splattered. That's his word, splattered. I don't know what splattered mean when it comes to a Skeletor, a whole Skeletor, exoskeletor system, the whole head to toe situation. Blood might be a little bit here and there, you know what I'm saying, for breakage of the skin, swelling, you know what I'm saying? But this dude said he was twice splattered by the only champion he met. Remember, in the rematch, the fight was called, Mark Breland threw in the towel, and he was basically demanding answers from Kenny Bayless. He was rejecting the stoppage. He was like, what the fuck going on? No. Boom, he was on his feet. So that doesn't consist of a splatter, do it? I mean, it doesn't consist of a splatter type of event, does it? He goes on to say, other than Bermain Stavern, that is, and few of the other challengers arrive with anything resembling a legitimate title shot pedigree. But in line with the 2022 reality, it is what it is, and I'm okay with it. So he says he's okay with it. Though barely past a half century myself, I'm fully aware of my undisputed dinosaur emeritus status when it comes to Hall voting criteria, which in its simplest terms goes like this. If the answer is yes, think Mayweather and Pacquiao. He's got my vote. If the answer is no, think Butterbean and Kardashian. He's got my apologies. Wilder, though, perhaps not the degree of the example cited, deserves a hard no. He gets points as a stat compiler and an extra nudge thanks to Olympic medal street cred. He said Olympic medal street cred. Once again, I repeat, the little subtle insertions from this writer to get people's attention to think he has some type of racial tendencies, racist tendencies, prejudice, discriminatory. Because he said Olympic medal street cred. So now the Olympics deal with street. Or his comparison in general is trying to say, I place Deontay Wilder's Olympic berth from the streets of Tuscaloosa. He really didn't earn it inside on the Olympic stage. He was over there where his stature was, fighting a guy I didn't know, or no one else knew. You know what I'm saying? He might have had a uniform on that resembled Olympic boxing uniform, but no one can verify that. You know what I'm saying? This is this guy's trying to say, thanks to his Olympic medal street cred. So a man working for his family, providing, having 2-3 jobs, right? Then deciding to turn boxer. You know what I'm saying? Go into the Olympics. Don't just turn professional, and just go do what he got to do. He went the Olympic route. So Fitzsimmons here is absolutely looking at Deontay Wilder like with the biggest salt tablet he can possibly swallow right now. You know what I'm saying? He's basically saying he get a big no, but I want to help you understand that, Fitzsimmons, you're not the one voting boxers into the Hall of Fame. You're just out here having an opinion and a keyboard to sit up here and post an article like this that really don't make no sense at the end of the day. Because you're trying to justify why Deontay will get into the Hall of Fame, but yet you're trying to discredit and say, if you was in the position, you're not in the position. So the only thing you can do is just shut up and type. That's it. That's all you got to do, bro. You won't be there when he becomes eligible. You're not the ones voting. You're not. And that analogy that you gave from Butterbean to Kardashian, so pretty much you would think in comparison, that analogy makes sense to the general public who's reading this bullshit. He goes on to say, but unless my hurricane-addled mind is failing, his hurricane-addled mind is failing. 2 weeks without electricity would do that to a guy. Believe me, I don't recall many suggesting, even at the peak of his powers, that he was any more an all-time great than simply the pick of historically inglorious heavyweight litter. At no point his reign did he even make the Ring's year-end pound-for-pound top 10. And that is right, because they never provided him that credit when he was doing that. Because heavyweight division, right? A lot of heavyweights in this era wasn't placed on the pound-for-pound list. It was a huge gap in there before you even seen heavyweights on the pound-for-pound list like that. Even Anthony Joshua, they didn't put him on the pound-for-pound list like that. Not until Tyson Fury defeated Deontay Wilder, who was never placed on the pound-for-pound list. He was provided the grand prize. Tyson Fury. He was provided the grand prize off the back of Deontay Wilder's hard work and labor. You know what I'm saying? And his achievements as a fighter. They awarded Tyson Fury that shit. Call it what you want. You know what I'm saying? I'm not throwing no race card around. I'm just telling you, the people who vote and do what they want, I'm just, it's not for me to understand when people are out here swinging, fighting, taking punishment. You know what I'm saying? They're obviously the elites. They're holding championships. They're defending those championships. They're giving you highlight reel entertainment. But yet, it doesn't extend up to the highest tier where these people can say, hey, let's put him on the pound-for-pound list. But yet, the same fighter who they say haven't fought anybody, this guy said it too. He hasn't fought anybody in the heavyweight litter that's worth anything. But yet, after all those 42 victories, right? Tyson Fury gets rewarded for Deontay Wilder not fighting anybody. Anybody of the litter, any pick of the litter that you want, he gets no credit. But you know who does get credit for defeating Deontay Wilder? Tyson Fury. How can you get credit from a fighter who no one was giving credit, really? Just like this guy, Fitzsimmons, he wasn't fighting anybody. Subpar, mediocre competition. If that is indeed the case, and someone is undefeated, how do you award the person who finally beat the guy who boxing or fighting anybody? Somebody make it make sense to me. How does that how does that work sanely? How do you figure this out? How do you troubleshoot this shit? What questions are we to ask? Where are they? Where are these people? I just have one. How do you award someone top value, high appraisal for defeating a guy who you say was fighting bums anyway? So if he was undefeated, to y'all language, fighting bums, how do Tyson Fury get awarded for defeating Deontay Wilder, who many considered a bum too? How does that work exactly? How all of a sudden you're just gonna throw him on a magazine cover, and Deontay is pretty much getting the shade, how you put it? He pretty much receiving the rewards in the shade. You know what I'm saying? They're not presenting this to him in the light of everybody else. He's somewhat getting rewarded indirectly as a third party. And you feel what I'm saying? The third party is the person that Tyson Fury defeated to get his name and picture on that magazine. Why is he on the magazine? Because he defeated the third party. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, people. Andrew Charles on deck. What's good? Andrew Charles said Olympic medal street cred. That's a new one for me. Yeah, Olympic medal street cred. You know, real talk, when it comes to the brothers, you know, people that look like me, I would say that Jive Turkey is talking about us and us alone. You know what I'm saying? When he says street cred, I mean, I heard that type of language growing up, and it wasn't beneficial. You know what I'm saying? They want to keep you on the street and act like you ain't reading books or educating yourself. For real, that's the way the way it sounded to me. Olympic medal street cred. If that ain't a motherfucking discrimination statement, I ain't ever seen one. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never read in my life then. He said, damn, he said historically a glorious litter. This guy's really landing on thick. Yeah. He's going into his Thespian freaking catalog. You know what I'm saying? He's dialed up now. He's linked. He's dialed up. And he's pulling out all the Thespian type freaking, you know, heavy hitters that he can throw into the his article to denounce a situation that he has no influence over. This article is so off the mark. Like, this is so lower, mediocre, you know what I'm saying, off the couch type article. He say he's been in the dark for 2 weeks. Yeah, your article shows that. It seems like you typed up this shit on your phone. Real talk. It seemed like you was at Starbucks typing this shit up. He said at no point during this reign did he even make the rings year in pound for pound. Duh. His most dedicated fan could rank him better than fourth, trailing Lennox Lewis, Vladimir Klitschko, and Fury, among the division's title claimants since 2000. And the less ardent might even concede the trouble he met with the likes of Usyk, Vitaly Klitschko, even Anthony Joshua. All three of those opponents he just missed, Usyk, Klitschko, and Joshua, he hasn't stepped in the ring with yet. You know what I'm saying? yeah, we can go off the hope of, he go in here and defeat Robert Helenius and Usyk, stick by his word and say, you know what, we got Wilder Usyk. Now we get to see what everybody's gonna say once again. Usyk's just a better boxer. It's gonna go full circle, right back at it, right back to ground zero. God damn it, here we go once again. Seriously, it's gonna come back. I mark my words, people. This shit is coming back. It's coming back to ground zero, where the explosion hit. When this shit was building up, and all the hate was coming and precipitating, all the damn golf ball size hell was raining down, guess what? It's going to come back full circle. If he steps in there with Usyk, how people just love and adore Usyk, you're going to see this hate regenerate itself with even more energy than it had for the first time. Because now he's lost twice to Tyson Fury. And individuals like Fitzsimmons is going to have a lot more motivation to type in the dark and scratch the nutsack and goddamn, sit up there and eat Twinkies and ho-hos and shit. And say, well, what can I say? Let me grab my dictionary. And then he ends this shit, right? He said, that's in an era particularly no one lauds as golden when it comes to the big man. So pretty much he said no one praises as golden when it comes to the big man. And if you drop him in the 90s with Holyfield and Bo, or the 80s was Holm and Tyson. See, you can't even compare what could have potentially happened back then with the guy the stature of Deontay Wilder with TNT, in his right hand. Who would have known a very in shape, light Holyfield could have withstood that right hand? We're talking about two cats from Alabama. Holyfield, I respect the shit out of, real deal. You know what I'm saying? They both from Alabama. But guess what? We don't know if he could have withstood that. You know what I'm saying? We don't know. We don't know if Riddick Bowe could have withstood that. That would have been a damn good fight. You know what I'm saying? Height for height, boxing for boxing, brawler for brawler. Yeah. And then, of course, Larry Holmes had that amazing jab, man, that footwork, that beautiful jab he used to stick out there. That would have been tough. That would have been tough, real talk. That would have been tough. You know what I'm saying? But another person that had that Larry Holmes-like jab, too, in this era was Luis Ortiz. I'm not in no way, shape, or form comparing Luis Ortiz to Larry Holmes, but Deontay Wilder was able to surpass and infiltrate and breach the perimeter and knock him out cold. He got up, but 2 fights he was stopped. 2 fights he was stopped. That's the closest I've seen someone to be able to have that movement as a heavyweight, in King Kong Ortiz. And Deontay fought him twice. But look, this guy gives Luis Ortiz no credit, and he was undefeated. He has 2 losses on his record only from that of Deontay Wilder at that time when they was fighting. He had 2 straight losses for one of the top heavyweights. That's it. I'm not talking about what just happened recently. I'm talking about that's it. Just like Deontay Wilder has 2 losses. Anthony Joshua has 2 recent losses from top names. So just like the heavyweights or the fighters that's back in the day, they're rewarded for what they didn't accomplish, some of them. But stepping in the ring with some of these big names who was former champions, and they couldn't get it done, but they awarded them. They awarded them for the shit. If you know a guy named Tom Sharkey, right? Tom Sharkey fought a fighter by the name of I think his name was James Jeffries. Now James Jeffries only had 1 loss in his career. James Jeffries defeated Tom Sharkey twice, but Tom Sharkey is recognized for defeating for losing to James Jeffries. Look, he's in the Hall of Fame. He's remembered for losing to James Jeffrey twice. And they talk about that. And then when it comes to James Jeffrey, right? Yeah, he picked up the championship belt, right? He defeated Bob Fitzsimmons, I believe, right? But yet, what they truly remember is when they was encouraging who they called the Great White Hope to come out of retirement or whatever he was doing to step in there and fight Jack Johnson. You can do it. You can do it. He goes in there against one of the most hated black champions. Well, I wouldn't say, I mean, he was one of the most hated, but he wasn't, you know what I'm saying, like stupid. He was hated now. You know, not to mention, you know, he had his snow bunny with him. He had to move out and get his snow bunny and go handle business. God damn it, what it must have been for Jack Johnson back then. God damn. But anyway, James Jeffrey ended up facing a loss, getting his first loss against Jack Johnson, right? That's what people remember him by. Losing to Jack Johnson, dog. Losing to Jack Johnson. I think he has like 19 victories, 1 defeat, something like that. I'm not totally spot on. Might be right. Somewhere around there. You know what I'm saying? But Tom Sharkey, he gets recognition for fighting James Jeffries twice and losing. You know? And James Jeffries is one of those guys who stepped in there with some other names too. But he's stepping there and losing against Jack Johnson. When they wanted him to come in here, I know you can do it. James, I know you can do it. You're the Great White Hope. We have faith in you, James. And he goes in there and gets stopped in the 15th round. You can do it. He goes in there and gets stopped. He goes in there and gets stopped, y'all. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the shit was hilarious, bro. What about that guy named Tommy Burns, right? What about Tommy Burns? This man had like big up accolades, 13 title defenses, man, 11 different boxers. You know what I'm saying? This guy was one of the shortest heavyweights in history. One of the shortest, bro. But yet you can't get that love. Like, if he was in an era where champions was somewhat like, now I'm not being disrespectful, but let's just say in the women's division where you can have a changing of the guard over and over again with these championship belts, whether they vacated or lost or whatever the case may be. If back then that they fought on such a regularity that, you know, you can pick up a championship, lose it, get it back, or whatever the case may be. You can do that. I mean, you was fighting on a regularity like no other. It was around the fucking clock. So to do it in this era, you know, to amass the amount of wins that Deontay did, over the amount of years he did it, and the amount of defenses he had it, he's a guaranteed first ballot Hall of Famer, bro. Because what does it take in this era if it's not too many other people emulating what he did, whether it's one title or 2 titles, whether it's one or multiple, if you don't see people reigning 5+ years with multiple title defenses, then it's not considered to be easy. Because if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. So it must not be easy. It must not be easy if everybody's not doing it. If everybody's not doing it, it must not be easy, Joshua. We seen how he came up. We seen how Charles Martin got the pay slip. We seen how they call Klitschko out of retirement from losing to Dane Tyson Fury and stepping back in Wembley against Joshua. We seen that shit, shawty. We seen Joseph Parker surviving there, and the referee barely let them engage during the fight, always in between. And he ended up getting a decision. We seen your protection, bro, until someone, one of your scouts, slipped up and say, to be honest, I think it's time for us to go to the U.S. And one perfect opponent would be Jarrell Miller, big baby. They didn't know that Jarrell Miller was a walking PD volcano. They didn't know that. They didn't know because he wasn't erupting. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't erupting for people to see the spillage until the A sample came back. And they say, this shit is glowing yellow. It's a bit yellow and green, neon. Is this shit nuclear? Is it nuclear? And what is this? Are you sure this is piss? It looks like it's radioactive. They didn't know. So now they go out, the scouts fuck up, and they say, hey, man, it's this pudgy Mexican. Sure, Andy Ruiz. What about him? He only has one loss from Joseph Parker. Bring him on. It'll be an easy go for Joshua. What happens? He gets the early knockdown, but he cannot finish it. And he ends up quitting and getting stopped. And losing his titles. But is Joshua considered one of the best heavyweights of this era? Yes. Even with 3 defeats? Yes. He's considered one of the best. Tyson Fury, of course. He beat Deontay Wilder. Of course. He's not going to get credit for Sefi Safari, Francis, Tom Schwartz, Otto Wallin. He's not getting credit for those guys. He's getting credit for the Bronze Bomber, shawty. Come on, bro. That's what he's getting credit for, man. Yeah, Blunts, man, he on some bullshit, dog. Successfully, he defended it 10 times. But he actually defended attempt for the 11th time, and that's when he lost against Fury. You know what I'm saying? But all up, leading up to that point of the defending, right? This man earned 2 knockdowns in their first fight. Two knockdowns. But yet, all the way up to that point of facing the former unified heavyweight champion Tyson Fury, who was out the sport for drugs. They kept saying the same shit about Wilder. He don't know boxing skills. He can't box. Learn how to box. He can't do this. He can't do that. He kept on laying motherfuckers stretched out under the stars. For real. You would think, hey, that was the norm, dog. He damn near caught a body. Arthur Spilker came in and didn't see the short, quick right hook. Dude was out. I don't even know he had a post, bro. It might have been a glimmer. But dude, he almost caught a body. Not just that. Speaking of bodies, when Deontay Wilder was on the radio in the Breakfast Club, he said, the Bronze Bomber want to catch a body. And he separated himself from the mentality of his alter ego to Deontay Wilder. People say, oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. He's a killer. He's a murderer. He's not good for the sport. Ban him. He wants to catch a body. Ban him today. They was going crazy, y'all. Deontay, if you don't mind, I would like to address the question that is basically went viral, and just let me help you understand. I'm no way, shape, or form personally invested in being the judge and the jury, but I just want you to explain yourself and what you meant. But when you say you want to catch a body, Now I know there was separation from your alias, the Bronze Bomber, vice who you are in real life as Deontay Wilder. But I would just ask for clarification on catching a body. So therefore, are you saying outside of the regular skill set that you was blessed with, the power that God gave you, you want that to be demonstrated in a result of death of your opposition? Is that true? Am I right along that line? I'm far off to the left or what? Please guide me back in. Guide me to the target. When Deontay said that shit, he want to catch a body. It was a rap. He wasn't getting on the magazine. They say this Negro from Alabama, he's trying to kill somebody. Hey, not to mention, he was already flatlining cats, right? They didn't say shit about Bermain Stavern looking like he had tripped and fell into a damn pot of Ambien. They didn't say nothing about that. Act like that man goddamn just left happy hour, man. He had 10 shots of Ambien and fell asleep when he was on his way to the car. They didn't say anything. They didn't say, oh man, it looks like he was trying to basically take the life of Bermain Stavern. No, that wasn't the case, bro. You know what I'm saying? They didn't say anything about how Arthur Spilter was laying out there stretched. They weren't saying nothing about, when he cracked Dominique Brazil and stopped him in just over 2 minutes into the first round. Was that a body? I'm just saying, was that considered a body? I'm just curious. Pop on deck, what's good? Lost Art of Boxing, what's good with it, family? Salute to you. I detect a whole bunch of truth being spoken. Hey, you know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to, find out where's this author getting, this writer getting all this vitriol. You feel me? Like the shit he was saying seemed a bit more invested on a personal level than just doing a job. It felt like he was much more deeply invested in criticizing Deontay. He's already been criticized, real talk. He's going to continue to be criticized. It's been very little media on Deontay. You know what I'm saying? I've been sitting back just listening and trying to see what people have to say about his training. You notice how the first time when he was heading in there for the trilogy, he switched it up. He went through some changes, man. He wasn't talking to people. He went through some changes, had Malik Scott training, and then people, basically vilifying him for not being able to see it play out in the ring. So now that they see him training out in a different gym, they're not really attaching him to Malik Scott because he's training with somebody else. Malik is still there to help out with training, but he is not the primary trainer. So people just sitting back and they don't know how to take this. Like they say, okay, I see him doing the mitts with Malik, but we don't know if he's the head trainer or not. But all we know is it didn't work out when he went in there for the trilogy with Tyson Fury. It didn't work out. He went into the 11th round, but it didn't work out. And we didn't see, what the videos were putting out. We didn't see any of that. That's what they were saying. So now they're looking at it in silence, very hush-hush. Reason being is they haven't really perked up. I would say perk up. They haven't perked up yet for this fight. They will. Watch me. Watch what I tell you. Friday, people are going to start perking up. It's a lot going on this weekend. Deontay, look, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, he has some competition with Devin Haney and George Kambosos and Carissa Shields. Listen, bro. He don't have no competition with them two fights. Stop. No, man. Them two don't compare to the heavyweight division. Stop it. It's no competition. People gonna look. They're gonna have to pick and choose whether they're gonna steal it. Okay. or buy it. They got to make the decision. Whether they're going to say, motherfucker, I stole it, or motherfucker, I bought it. They're going to have to see if they want to pay $74.99. And I'm telling them, they're going to start perking up for this fight. I'm telling you, people, they got, look, we're human at the end of the day. People who are boxing fans are going to tune in because they want to see how Wilder looks. They want to see. They want to see the return. They want to see the highlight. They want to see the TNT. They want to see the explosion. They want to see what he's learned since his loss to Tyson Fury. They want to see all that. They want to see if there's progress. They want to hear the bomb squad. It's been very, like when I say a lint ball, when I say it, the promo has been like tumbleweed. It's been quiet as tumbleweed, and some of the projects has been shut down here in the A. Real talk, bro. That shit's been so quiet, man. Ain't nobody saying too much of anything because they're waiting. They're waiting. If Helenius was not a previous sparring partner of Deontay Wilder, people would be up and perked all up. But they feel that since he has familiarity with Helenius, and there's not going to be too many surprises, and this guy has not fared well against common opponents that Deontay Wilder has, they're not really jumping up right now doing calisthenics. They're just going to wait till around Friday, and they're going to start calling up people. Hey, man, what you doing? Are y'all still throwing that, that fight party? Any girls dropping by or whatever? What we doing, man? We getting together. What we're gonna do the the $5 buy-in, shit like that. Get some wings, pizza, shit like that. What's up? They gonna start planning these fight parties. Motherfuckers gonna go over there just to see the fight card, because you got some good fights in there. You know what I'm saying? You got Caleb Plant return from Canelo Alvarez fighting Anthony Dog Durrell. You know what I'm saying? You got Antonio Russell, rather. You got Antonio Russell coming back. He's gonna be on deck. I mean, you got some hitters on there, man. But primarily, they looking to see Deontay Wilder and Robert Helenius. They want to see, because Robert Helenius has some bragging rights. He's the only man to defeat Andy Kanaki twice, bro. Andy Kanaki is not Deontay Wilder, but he defeated him twice. So he has bragging rights. So guess what? Listen to what I tell you. They're going to start perking up, because Shields Marshall's coming in around 2:30 p.m. That has no interference, all right? That's not going to break any pockets. And then, the Kambosos, Devin Haney, that shit was so easy in the first half. It's no competition this weekend for freaking Wilder Helenius. People are going to tune in whether they like it or not, bro. Because they're curious. That motherfucker's curious, dog. That motherfuckers are curious, dog. Real talk. Let's see what else is popping. Yeah, like I had on earlier, man. Shout out to the ladies. It's their weekend. We get to see some scores settle on both sides. Okay, Carissa Shields get to put to bed, bury any type of freaking history that Savannah Marshall was claiming back in the day. She putting that shit to rest. You know what I'm saying? I think this fight is going to be somewhat similar to a lopsided boxing match, just like we seen in the first Kambosos Haney fight. I think it's gonna be that easy. At this point in her career, Shields, I don't think she'll get caught like she did with Hannah Gabriel at 154. I don't think she'd get caught like that. I see her outboxing, and you probably asking yourself, well, you couldn't find another picture without her being in a t-shirt? I couldn't. I couldn't. I tried. I said, let me find a glam photo. Let me see if goddamn Savannah Marshall can get clean. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. And, of course, I had to, find from with Shields and the Gold. And, of course, Alicia Baumgarten goes without saying. You know what I'm saying? It goes without saying. And then Michaela Mayer, too, man. She easy on the eyes, too, bro. Real talk. I mean, I tried, bro. Somebody asked me about the t-shirt. I said I couldn't find no other pictures, man, that she was cleaned up like she heading out to a gala. You know what I'm saying? A red carpet event. I couldn't find this shit. So I had to throw on here with a t-shirt, dog. You know what I'm saying? I did the best I could, Put the background in there, throw the pink. But you know what it is, man. It's no competition. This is gonna be a good headliner and co-headliner. I'm looking forward to it. Seriously, I'm looking forward to that shit. D-Ray Promotions on deck. Salute to you, bro. You know what I'm saying? Salute to you. Let's see what else is out there before I bounce, bro. Okay, this will slip my mind. I know it was something I was up here forgetting, but I wanted to mention. I have a couple, but I wanted to mention the Connor Ben situation. From what's out there in the waters, right? Rumor mill is Bravo sample B came back muddy too. All right. Once again, we already know A sample Alpha came back muddy. Rumor mill has it that sample Bravo has came back muddy too. So now it makes it pretty much very, very interesting on the action that would be taken by the BBOC. You know what I'm saying? With Conor Ben, will he be suspended? It's not the first time a boxer has popped. It's not the end of the world. You know what I'm saying? It's not the end of the world. These are athletes who's in there taking punishment and all this other shit. So, it's not the end of the freaking world for him. But it does suck because he was about to make a paycheck. He's about to pick up a bag with Eubanks. And Eubanks is coming out squeaky clean on this shit. You know what I'm saying? He even stepped on the scale, at his rehydration weight. And he was good. Now they have to look for an opponent. From my understanding, he was up there trying to call up Jake Paul. Stop it, bro. But let me tell you the other half of this dark side, right? Eubanks Sr. is having none of this. Eubanks Sr. is trying to sue. You know what I'm saying? Eubanks has been, adamant about this fight not happening. When before the fight week in Newark, word was already out that he did not want his son to take this fight. He felt that it was a health issue with him dropping all that weight, and it wasn't healthy. He just didn't want his son participating in this shit. So he was already on board with this fight not happening. Then all of a sudden, somehow, whatever they want to call it, a leak or whatever, word get out that Conor Ben or whatever, maybe should be tested or whatever the case may be. And they end up testing him. He popped. Now, when we heard the news, Vice, when it actually happened, is a different type of window. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't immediate. This was a delayed announcement. Why? Because it was leaked. When the shit was leaked, that pretty much started the downward spiral. You know what I'm saying? And it looks extremely bad for Conor Ben. And then the fact he got up there and he was giving an interview and he said he spoke to Chris Eubanks about whatever. And then Eubanks turned around and said, he never called me. So I don't know who to believe. But what I can tell you, Eubanks Sr. comes out clean in this too. Because what he had mentioned is that he felt that this fight wasn't ready. It hasn't built up to the magnitude for what it needed to be. You know what I'm saying? They could have took more time to build up this fight due to the magnitude and the nature of the father's legacy and now the son stepping in the ring. So he felt that, no, it's not time for this fight. Don't do it. It's a money grab. But it ended up working out, man. It ended up working out. You know what I'm saying? It ended up working out. Seriously. It ended up working out, man. Because Eubanks Sr., his son, didn't fight that particular fight. And plus, Conor Benn looks really bad in this whole thing. And the rivalry will continue. The rivalry will continue between Ben and Eubanks. The rivalry will continue, y'all. You know what I'm saying? And then lastly, man, whatever's going on with Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia, I told you that they was going to fight. Right? Just don't know what's going on with negotiation and, you know, how they're going to bring this to the front. But I want to see the fight. I want to see Gervonta step in there with Ryan Garcia. Real talk. I want to see it because there's a lot of people that believe, you know, Ryan Garcia's height and his speed and his power. You know, it's going to be, it might be an equalizer for Gervonta Davis. And look, I can't fathom it. I cannot fathom that Ryan Garcia, on one of those tree branches, you know, those tree branches that grow in the direction of the sun, they grow out a little bit and straight up. That's what he reminded me of when he started to throw his combinations. It seems like he's vertical. His chin is straight up in the air looking to the sun. You know what I'm saying? And you do that with somebody like Gervonta Davis. All he has to do is go back to the stool after he gets off the stretcher. They can bring the stretcher, take him back to the stool, right? And then he has to look over to his left, and he's going to see who? Leo Santa Cruz. Hey, my friend, I told you, be careful. You don't listen. Did you see what? I try to tell you ahead of time. You know, Gervonta power, it comes out of nowhere. You didn't want to believe me. Look at you. Leo Santa Cruz be over there. Look at you, Ryan. Well, you trying to die? Get your chin out of the clouds, son. Man, look, I see Ryan Garcia getting stopped, bro. I see Ryan Garcia getting stopped. Luke Campbell knocked this man on his right shoulder. He fell back and he was goddamn on his right shoulder. He fell back on his right shoulder, dog. Like Luke Campbell did that to him. Look, we're talking about the same tank that unleashed a left hand and sent Rolly to the ropes for picture day. People taking pictures, snapping shots. That mug all the way in the road. Is anyone you out? You want me to smile? Hurry up. Goddamn, Rolly was in the ropes taking pictures, dog. Then that motherfucker turned around, and I say, damn, what's going on with his leg? I ain't seen a stanky leg, you know, done in a sitting position. So he got up. The referee said, "You okay?" Rolly heard, "Fight another day." Ref said again, "Are you okay? Go to your left." My left? I'm standing right here, man. It sounded like radio frequencies, man, when I was in the core, dog. Rolly trying to communicate to the ref, it sounds like radio frequencies. The referee, all I did, I want you for the last time, step to your left. He called the fight off. It was a wrap. Man, fuck you, man. I'm going out the ring. I'm going to the locker room, man. Fuck that, man. I was good, man. I was good. Rolly wasn't good, y'all. If you see when he stepped out the ring. He attempted. Look, this was crazy. This man just got knocked out by one of the hardest hitter in boxing right now, until Deontay Wilder come back. But Gervonta Davis has a freaking he has a strong challenge. Like, outside Deontay Wilder competing, he's the hardest hitter in my opinion. But check this out. When Rolly stepped out through the ropes and he got to them steps, he damn near fell down the steps, bro. Look at the video. It could have been all bad. And then he walked, he grabbed his pops. I know it was tough on the family. I'm glad he's okay. But looking at how Rolly took that punishment, man, he can talk all the shit he want, but it is what it is, man. Now Ryan Garcia, a person that used to be your nemesis, that lost 20,000, he's about to go in there and lose his chin too. The good thing about it is that both of y'all will become better friends after this fight. Real talk. I wouldn't say do it down here in the A. Don't do it here in the A. Don't go to the local park and sit there and talk about, how the fight played out, and talk about, how hard Gervonta hit freaking Rolly and how hard he hit Ryan. Don't y'all talk about that, and try to compare who was hit the hardest and all this shit. Don't do it down here. You know what I'm saying? There's too many media running around. They might record your conversation, bro. I'm just saying. Shit might go viral. But they have a chance to really sit down and talk about both of them being in the ring with the Tank and what that experience was like. That's all. I mean, because these guys was at each other's throats at one time. And somehow they became bosom buddies. But they're gonna come even better friends, after this next fight, because they're gonna both be able to speak about the experience of being unconscious in there with Gervonta Davis. Seriously, they're gonna be able to communicate with that shit. They're gonna be able to talk. They're gonna give you play by play. Rolly's still gonna be talking about, hey man, I'm on all 6 rounds, man, all 6 rounds. And then Ron is going to be looking up at the birds and shit. Oh, you say something? Oh, okay. Dang. Thought I heard something. Well, what you think about it, man? Talk about the fight. What do you think about it? Well, it's not too much to think about. It only lasted 2 rounds. And, to be honest, it's not much I remember from that. It only lasted 2 rounds. I was like, gee, man. I say, shit, I've never been in a 2-round fight that I didn't win. Except this one. You know what I'm saying? I didn't see it coming at all, man. I should have listened to Leo Santa Cruz. Leo said his power come out of nowhere, and I should have listened, but I still took the fight. Rolly became a meme that night. Yeah, man, he was over there in the ropes taking pictures, man. You know what I'm saying? Trying to order some hot fries and shit, and a cup of sweet tea. You know what I'm saying? Some lemonade. We need Tank to knock Ryan out in Baltimore. Ooh. No, man, we need him to knock him out down in the A, dog. He need to be down in the A, dog. Baltimore, we've seen Ricardo Nunez get wiped. He wiped his nose over there in Baltimore, dog. We seen that. We seen that. I mean, hey, the house will be turned up, man. That shit'll be lit. I ain't gonna lie. I like the energy. Man, I love the energy. I ain't gonna say I love the energy. When he fought in Baltimore, man, that shit was rocking. That shit was rocking, y'all. If it's in Maryland, I'll be there. Man, that shit's in the A, shawty. That's where it's supposed to be. That fight's supposed to be in the A. Raheem on deck. What's good with it? He fell on that shoulder like he ain't know what just hit him. I know, man. By Luke Campbell, though. Luke Campbell is never. He's not known for that power. He's not known for that shit. But Luke Campbell sat him on his right shoulder, dog. What is Gervonta going to do? I'm going to be honest with you. I think Ryan Garcia has a weaker chin than Rolly Romero, man. I do. I think he has a weaker chin. I think Ryan has a weaker chin. Look, his surviving instinct in that fight, in my opinion, he will attempt to do what Rolly did. He's going to try not to be reckless because look, you can look at the first 5.5 rounds. The first round until the stoppage, okay? And you can say that, oh man, Rolly was winning the fight and he was boxing superbly and all that. You can say that. But then you have to bring in Ryan Garcia's mentality. Can Ryan Garcia, does he have the mentality of Rolly Romero? No. Rolly went in there with an ego. He felt that he was a stronger fighter. He's a black belt in judoka. He really felt he can, knock Gervonta out. Ryan Garcia doesn't believe he can. Ryan Garcia has to prove to himself when the bell rings that he can stick to the game plan. He has to, because where's all going to go wrong for Ryan if Gervonta Davis doesn't respect any type of power that he may possess. He's going to close distance on his ass, and he's going to start pushing him around on the inside. And we all know Ryan Garcia cannot box on the inside, bro. We all know that. And you want Gervonta to be on the inside with you? You want Gervonta to look, let's not get it twisted. Ryan Garcia is not Esau Cruz. Okay? He's not going to have that tight, ironclad defense. No. That's not it. Ryan Garcia, if he's on the outside boxing, do we have enough confidence to really throw his jab out there with conviction, to pop that jab out there with conviction, knowing that Gervonta is shorter? Does he have the conviction, knowing that tank, though it might be short in stature, it's going to have TMT coming? Does he have the conviction to do that shit? If Gervonta started to feint and he getting the reaction out of Ryan, he starts to close distance with feints and popping the jab out there, because Gervonta has a damn good jab himself. If he comes in and Garcia lets him tie up, and Davis get the impression like, oh, this nigga's just gonna let me get on the inside like that without throwing punches, not trying to earn my respect, not trying to goddamn keep me honest. He's just gonna let me on the inside. It's gonna be a short night, bro. I don't see this being from the round 1 to the mid round. I don't see this being a boxing match like Rolly tried to make it. Gervonta said he was hit by Rolly Romero, man. He felt it. He got power. So he said, I get him later. And then you saw in the 4th round, he started turning up. Then the 5th round. And then destruction happened in the 6th. Real talk. Max on deck, salute to you. Tank's power would turn Ryan into booty clip. Word to 21 Savage. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you know what? It'll be crucial, bro. Wilder been a pro for 14 years, and for 10 of those years, he never fought anybody. Now wants to give us fights. Better late than never. How's he giving you a fight and he's fighting Robert Helenius, who has losses on his record too, just like Wilder, just like Joshua, just like Dillian White, just like Andy Ruiz, just like Chris Arreola, just like Alexander Povetkin, just like Daniel Dubois, just like Oscar Rivas, just like Joseph Parker, just like Kubrat Pulev, just like Dominique Brazil, just like Otto Wallin. I mean, should I keep going? What are you talking about? It hasn't been no new heavyweights come up on the scene that's in the top echelon from when Deontay Wilder was competing. Who has changed? You still got Joshua. You still got Fury. Alexander Usyk came over. He's been here for a good little minute. He's established now. He defended his titles. So who's next? He's not fighting Usyk this week. He's fighting Robert Helenius. The same Robert Helenius who derailed Andy Konoski, who had all this hype behind him. He stopped him the first time. Andy said, no, I got to get some get back, just like Isaac Dogbay thought he needed against Emmanuel Navarrete, and he gets stops again. Facts. It's facts, shawty. Don't get it twisted, man. Don't think because I come in here and talk about Crawford all the time, Deontay, I don't talk boxing. I can talk it when I want to. I can when I talk when I want to. Real talk. But man, hey, y'all been great, man. You know, Max, go somewhere. I know you on the fake account, a ghost account. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get them every now and then. It's okay, bro. Well, just do your research because you know what I'm saying. It's just not. It's not like you have the young guns that's ready to step in there with Wilder. They can talk all that shit from a distance, but let's not get it twisted. I don't want to start calling out any of the young guns in the heavyweight division, but Wilder is nothing to be played with, bro. Real talk. Nothing to be played with. Hey, man, continue to support the channel. Make sure y'all hit the like button on your way out. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate everyone for pulling up. Big Baby is not ready for Deontay Wilder just yet, bro. Deontay has been in there with fighters who try to overwhelm him. Come on, look at Luis Ortiz. Luis Ortiz was able to hurt him in the 7th round. He had 42 seconds to get it done. He could. Hey, I'm gonna channel my Bernie. He couldn't get it done. He tried, but he failed. He tried. He had 42 seconds to knock the champ out. He couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. Do you remember that fight, Max? He couldn't do it. The man had 42 seconds, was it, in the 7th? He had 42 seconds to knock Deontay clean out and establish himself as one of the best Cuban fighters ever, especially in the heavyweight division. He couldn't get it done because the bell rung. And from there on, problems. And then even in the rematch, Luis Ortiz was doing good. They say, oh man, Deontay Wilder, he's barely throwing any punches. I was at that fight. He's barely throwing any punches. He's losing this fight. What the hell was that? All of a sudden, you see a right hand. Looks like he knocked the Cuban soul train out of Luis Ortiz. The back splatter of the sweat. I even got the picture. I have to go in my archives. I even have the picture of the back splat from that punch landing. Luis Ortiz went down, and that was a wrap. So who else he supposed to fight? Klitschko's been retired, man. Come on, talk to me. What other heavyweights out there? It's no young guns that's ready for Wilder. Daniel Dubois ain't ready for Wilder. You know what I'm saying? Joe Joyce, he was over there fighting Daniel Dubois and everybody else. He wasn't ready for Wilder. You know what I'm saying? They think now because Wilder's taking 2 losses, they ready for the, okay then. Come on, let's go. It's not like this heavyweight division has a freaking group of mercenaries. Stop it, bro. It's not that deep. Dillian White finally gets his shot at the WBC title. It's not against Deontay Wilder. It's against Tyson Fury, the guy who defeated Deontay Wilder. And guess what? He gets knocked out. Guess what? He gets knocked out. We can't call back Alexander Povetkin. He's too old. He probably won't even get approved no more. So we want to call up Philippe Herkovic. You want Herkovic to go in there and get this thrashing? What happened to him his last fight? Somebody please explain. You know, look like my guy say, I'll wait. You know, I'll wait. What was going on with Herkovic the last fight? What about Alan Bavick? What about Bavick? What about all these dang, you know, these guys that the hype is, you know, y'all was giving all this hype to? Who else is out there, man? Who else? You know, you got Fury, Wilder. You know, you got Usyk. You know what I'm saying? Joshua. 4. The 4 amigos right there. And then it gets a little shaky from there. It gets a little shaky. It gets a little cold. Real talk. Who else? Y'all boosting up Andy Ruiz again? Who else is out there, bro? Where you go, Max? Come on, man. I was just turning up the heat a little bit, man. Where did you go in your fake account, man? Where did you go? Don't run. Big Baby Anderson coming, but not yet. Wilder turn Ortiz into a commercial for Soul Glow coming to America. Dude, I was like, did anybody see what I just saw? Look, I thought the film crew had moved in, and Patrick Swayze was filming Ghost during this fight. I actually thought the ghost had came out of Luis Ortiz. Real talk. I thought, I was going to see Patrick Swayze looking up at the rafters, and Deontay Wilder started floating away after he knocked the soul out of Ortiz. I said, what the fuck is going on? Dude, did you just see this shit? Is Ortiz still living? Is this the body? Is this the body that the Bronze Bomber was talking about? Is this the body? Oh, man. Damn, dog. Man, y'all need to take boxing serious, dog. Serious, for real. Ortiz got the motherfucking soul knocked out of him, man. And look, that's exactly what's going to bring people back to the table, because he still dropped Tyson Fury. He still dropped him. In that fight, they dropped each other, but Deontay still dropped Tyson Fury, considered a 270, 80, 90-pound behemoth. He still was dropped by a guy who considered Deontay's Olympic street cred bronze medal, a basketball player, a guy that can't box. He dropped Tyson Fury. Hey, man, call it for what it is, man, and stop calling for what it ain't. Give that man his credit, bro. Give him his credit. Dead Game say the Cuban that was trading with Canelo. We're talking about heavyweights. I was more so speaking of heavyweights. I put heavyweight on the end of that shit. For real. That's what I was more so speaking on. But yeah, man. Hopefully y'all got some boxing topic. Hey, you know what I was about to do? I was about to throw my goddamn Crawford thumbnail up there. But I'm going to do another live on that, because I need to, I need to kind of find out some things, about what's going on with Spence and everything. I've been chilling. Don't ever get it twisted. Just because I come in here and talk about certain topics, I can talk about boxing. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes I want to talk about a specific topic in recession. Purposely. You know what I'm saying? But, man, y'all been great, man. Appreciate y'all pulling up as always. Buckle Up Boxing, what's good? My guys in the heavyweight division are Big Baby, Jared Miller, and Usyk. They're my guys to the end. For sure. I have no problem, man. I'm not one of those channels because, rocking with Deontay and all that. Man, I like Big Baby, man. I like Big Baby. Standing next to that guy, he has the right size of a heavyweight, and he's in shape. He's gonna be a problem. He's gonna be a problem. Usyk, I stood next to him. Tall, eccentric. You know what I'm saying? And he can box. He's the kind of dude that I believe that has some bodies out there. And when they was over there, he buried some bodies, man. You know what I'm saying? Usyk is not your normal type of human being. You know what I'm saying? Big Baby and Usyk is young enough for them to be around to fight each other possibly in the future. Seriously. That is where we at right now. Deontay Wilder's career, he doesn't have a long time left in the sport. He don't have a long time left in the sport. So you have to look at the successors like Jared Anderson that is undefeated. You know what I'm saying? Who's doing his thing. You know what I'm saying? And then you have to look at the Kari Scott. He took his first loss already, but he's young. He's still young. You know, a heavyweight in the pro ranks. Um, we just need more U.S. heavyweights. We need more U.S. heavyweights, man. We need more U.S. heavyweights that's gonna make a statement, not heavyweights that's going around here like considered to be sparring partners and shit like that. I ain't talking about those heavyweights. I'm talking about heavyweights is out here that people should be concerned about when they step in the ring. That's all. If I talked about this previously, if Usyk's thinking about moving back down to cruiserweight, now I'm gonna say it if nobody else has already said it. I'm pretty sure they haven't. But if Usyk is thinking about moving back down to cruiserweight, it's because he's finding out that heavyweight is a little bit tougher than what he believed, and also he may have felt or ex, let me see, absorbed much damage, much more damage than he would like. Down to cruiserweight, not so much. He may believe he can go back down to cruiserweight now that he's became heavyweight, unified heavyweight, that he can go up there and get some pretty decent fights for a pretty good change with guys around his size. He's already been undisputed down there, so he can return already with a higher appraisal, even higher now. He was formerly undisputed cruiserweight, and he was unified heavyweight. So, hey, it's nothing else he has to prove. He may have felt something in that fight with Joshua. And it may be only temporary, y'all. Believe me when I tells you, this may only be temporary. If he vacates the belts, if that is the case, and he moves back down to cruiserweight, it's only a political reason. It's only to put those belts out there. There may be some promises made behind the scene. And real talk, this is what I think. This is the way I think. It may be some promises made behind the scenes because he's still young. He doesn't have to go. If they're not going to give him the Tyson Fury fight, I'm not sure if he actually wants the Tyson Fury fight. Tyson Fury will possibly stop Usyk. Real talk. It's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It may potentially stop Usyk, man. People can say what they want about Deontay Wilder, but we don't know if Usyk can handle that big body on him. Just from watching the Wilder fights, that's not going to do it for you. You're not going to stay on the outside with Tyson Fury and think that's just the way it's going to be. Hey, it's a reason why we ain't got the Usyk Tyson Fury. They trying to match up Anthony Joshua Fury, dog. So it may be something he felt in that fight. It may be something that's leading that someone's telling him that if you don't want to fight Fury, man, you might need to just, do us a favor and come back to heavyweight division. Because Fury be gone then. Wilder probably be gone. You know what I'm saying? You go back down to cruiserweight. You already established yourself. Let these belts go and some other champions, pick them up. And then, you a little older, come back up to heavyweight. You already know you can become heavyweight champion. You can pick it up again. You know what I'm saying? It's easy. It's probably some conversations, some sidebar conversations they've been having. If he's talking about moving back down to cruiserweight, man, come on, bro. I don't think he's moving down to cruiserweight and he's gonna keep these heavyweight titles tied up. I don't think that. I don't think that's the case. Because he has sanctioning fees to pay on those belts too. So either way it goes, man, we'll see how it play out. So was Fury in negotiations with Derek the whole time he was doing the AJ talk? So was Fury in negotiations with Derek the whole time he was doing the AJ talk. You never know with this boxing shit. You know how you always hear people talking about, oh, well, so and so's in talks, so and so's in talks. Don't believe that. It makes no sense. All it does is allow fans to be puppetized and pulled by strings, to think the new information is coming out. Don't believe that shit. When you hear, oh, so and so's are in talks, I literally read at one point in time, like in a span of maybe 30 days, that Conor Ben was talking about fighting this person, and then Conor Ben talking about fighting that person, and then he's talking about fighting this person, and then it ended up not being either one of those guys. It ended up being somebody like Chris Eubanks, shawty. This shit, it ended up being like Chris Eubanks, shawty. I'm like, what the fuck? They was talking about this man. Oh, and talks with this, and talks with that, and talks with this fighter, and it wasn't none of the fighters that was mentioned. Crazy, bro. Usyk ain't leaving heavyweight division. He damn near runs this shit, honestly. He ain't running shit till he goddamn defeat Tyson Fury. Until he defeat Deontay Wilder. We already knew Anthony Joshua could lose. We already knew he can quit. We already knew he had sloth cardio. Yeah, he had slothitis. We already knew that about Joshua, man. Stop playing. We knew he had slothitis. We knew he didn't have damn good cardio. We knew that already. So when he finally gassed out again, It was no surprise, bro. But I'm going to tell you, it's a different animal stepping over there fighting Tyson Fury. They're going to find out what Deontay was able to do is not so easy when they step in there. It's not that easy. Because listen, Usyk doesn't have that TNT like Wilder has. That's a huge necessity. That's a huge tool to have in your bag. Power. 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 That's no matter you take the skill, you can say what you want, the lack of skill set and all that. When you're blessed with KO power, Usyk doesn't have that. He knows he don't have it. He didn't even stop Joshua. Wilder would have fought Joshua, back in the day when they was trying to make that fight and Joshua pulled out and ran for the hills and the WBA, Eddie had to summons the WBA and say, hey, can you do me a favor? It's some informal negotiations going on. I'm going on social media between Wilder and Joshua. Can you just write a letter invoking the WBA mandatory and put a deadline on that for a week? You know what I mean? So we can just cease all this informal negotiation. That's what they did. They're up there negotiating. Joshua say, give me $50 million. I'll fight you tomorrow. Supposedly that shit was going to, happen, take place. Of course, with restrictions. Wilder say, fight me in the States. No rematch clause. Mano a mano, let's go. And then all of a sudden the WBA come out and say, well, hey, to be honest with you, Joshua has a mandatory coming up and we need a response by a week. The week came and went, no punishment whatsoever. Nothing. That's a farce, bro. Mitch on deck. What's good with it, Mitch? I'll say this. I don't see Usyk avoiding Wilder or Fury if the fight can be made. Bro, I'm telling you, Andrew. He thinking twice about going in there with Dan Fury, bro. I'm telling you, Fury is a tough fight for Dan Usyk, bro. A tough fight for Usyk. Deontay Wilder, depending on how much damage he took and how he looks coming back, he's a tough fight for Usyk. When you take an awkward fighter with power, Usyk understands he can get put to sleep. He understands that shit, bro. He can sit up here and watch all the spin the reel all he want. He has to get in there. Him getting in there with Tyson Fury, that big unorthodox, look like a goddamn Idaho potato, you have to get in there with him. Usyk has to get in there, and he has to handle all that damn pressure. I mean, that's when the word exposed comes into play now. It's not going to be easy, bro. But I'm going to jump off here, man. Y'all been good. Appreciate y'all as always, man. Thanks for the interaction. It's always a pleasure. But I will be on at a later date. Turn up and tune in to World Combat Sports. I'm out.